Hello students, जोङो आरोबाव गोदान बेबायदि एक्सारसाइसआव थांनोसै गोबां सम जाबाय बेबायदि भिडिअ गोदान होनो हायाखैमोन एसे हेल्थ इसुस लानानै आङो गोदान भिडिअ होनो हायाखैमोन दानिया जोङो आरोबाव गोदान जि 1.2 चैप्टार 1 निनो दै जे नाम्बार सिस्टेम बेनि गोदान आरोबाव मोनसे एक्सारसाइस दङ बे एक्सारसाइसआव थांनोसै ओके. So let us go to the new exercise, that is exercise 1.2, and yes, a lot has been added there. And before that, before going directly to the exercise, let us learn some words first. Okay, let us learn some, and that is the basically the concept. The first thing you need to know regarding this chapter. बे चैप्टाराव मा बुजिनो गोनां जागोन मा खालामनो गोनां जागोन बेखौ जोङो सिगांग्रो नायग्रोना लानो आरो बे चैप्टाराव जिखिनिखौ नांगौ जागोन बे एक्सारसाइसआव बेनि सिगां जुदि जोङो एसे क्लास 9 नि बे फर्स्ट चैप्टाराव मोननाय क्लास 9 आव we got in class 9 in the first chapter itself about the number system अनजिमा बेबायदिनि जों मोननायमोन गोसोआव दङब्ला नै बे 1.2 आ एक्चुअली जोङो बांसिन रानजोबथायि बे we will get mostly about irrational numbers. Okay, so I think you know from class 9 what are rational and what are irrational numbers. Rational or irrational. Rational means मा होनो rational माने रानजोबथा माखौ बुङोमोन रानजोबथा जायफोर अनजिमाफोरखौ p by q महराव दिन्थिनो हायो ना any number that can be shown in the form of p by q and q is not equal to 0 बे जाबाय जोंनि basic understanding basic understanding. For example मा थागोन for example 3 by 4 7 by 5 बेफोर जाबाय रानजोबथा अनजिमा आरो again जों मोननाय irrational numbers irrational numbers एबा रानजोबथायि अनजिमाफोर रानजोबथायि अनजिमाफोर मामाया रानजोबथायिखौ नैबेबायदि p by q आव दिन्थिनो हाया अबयसे दिन्थिनो हायो p by q आव नाथाय p by q आव दिन्थियोबाबो एसे आलादा जायो आरो बोरै मिथियो of course जों सिगाङाव मोननाय दा जे √3 √5 √2 बर्ग रोदा 2 बर्ग रोदा 3 बर्ग रोदा 5 बेफोरो रानजोबथायि अनजिमा होननानै नाथाय जों जुदि बिसोरनि डेसिमेलखौ नायोबोला डेसिमेल माने जुदि जायखिजाया दशमिक थानाय अनजिमा नायोबोला दशमिक थानाय अनजिमाखौ नायोबोला बेफोरनि दशमिकआ मा जायो जोबथाहैनो हागौ एबा जुदि जोबथाहै रोङिबोला बिसोरनिया टार्मिनेटिं जानो हागौ टार्मिनेटिं एबा जोबथाहैनाय जोबथाहैनाय एबा जुदि जोबथाहैयाबाबो it is what repeating जानो हागौ आरो terminating एबा repeating जानो हागौ repeating खौ बर'आव मा होनो जावलेलांनाय ना जावलेफिननाय होनना बुङो आरो क्लास 9 आव मोननाय दा माने जोङो जुदि बेफोरनि दशमिकखौ नायोबा 3.25 3.74444 बिदि मोनलांगोन आरो or 3.74 होननानै बार होजायोमोन 3.010101 बिदि थांनो हागौ आरो बेफोर जाबाय गासिबो all these are what rational numbers. Okay, now what about the rational number फोरा ओरैबायदि जाया repeat जाया repeat जाया. For example जोंनिया very important is pi. What is pi? 22 by 7 or जोङो पॉइंटआव लाङोबा 3.142 ना 3.142 something like that ना बे repeat जाया आरो बेलेग जालांबाय थायो. Or we can also write as what 2.0100100001 बेबायदि मोननाय दा नै बेफोरो आलादा जालांबाय थादों. They are different. You see all the terms are different. Here you can see that they are repeating 3.7444 3.01010101. They are rational. But those who are not repeating, even if you take the square root of 3, square root of 5, square root of 2, all they are irrational number because they are non-repeating. Okay, बिसोरनि जुदि जोङो दशमिकखौ नायोबोला जावलिफिननाय नङा आरो जावलिफिन रोङि दे they are non-repeating दे non-repeating non-terminating and also what and also okay if you look at them most of the time you will find that there is a square root दे गोबां समावनो नुगोन जे बिसोरनि बर्ग रोदा दङ आरो मा जायो बिसोरो जावलेफिन रोङि दे जावलेफिन रोङि हा मा जोबथाहै रोङिबो दे जोबथाहै रोङिबो बेबायदि जायो आरो दे रेशनेल नाम्बार इरेशनेल नाम्बारफोरा स' जोङो बे नेक्स्ट एक्सारसाइसआव जोङो मा बेखौ दिन्थिनांगोन जे नैफोरो मा इरेशनेल होननानै बेफोरो रानजोबथायै होनना दिन्थिनांगौ आरो रानजोबथायै होनना दिन्थिनो थाखाय जोङो मा नैबेबायदि खालामनाबो दिन्थिनो हायो नाथाय जों जेखौ दिन्थिगोन बे माबायाव दे दा we can show that this is what irrational number by showing their by dividing them but we are not going to do that okay what we are going to do that what we are going to do is we are going to use a method of contradiction दे contradiction माने मा बेरेखा लानाय दे बेरेखा लानाय बेबायदि जोङो आदब बाहायगोन आरो दे बेबायदि बेरेखा लानाय बाहायनानै we are going to before that you have to learn what is co-prime होननायखौ गोसोआव ला co-prime माखौ बुङो what is co-prime or लोगो रोदा होनना बुङो बर' लोगो रोदा माखौ बुङोलै हमना ला मोननै नाम्बार 3 आरो 4 आं जुदि 3/4 लिरोबोला बिसोरखौ मा you will see that they don't have any common factors दे बिसोरा जेबो कमन बेबायदि मा आगोसार मा दिहुनगिरि गैया आगोसार दिहुनगिरि गैया बिसोरखौ दाननोबो हाया you cannot cancel them because what they have only one common factor that is 1 दे जेरै आरो 5 आरो 7 even 9 and 5 बिसोरखौ co-prime होननानै बुंजागोन they are called co-prime why बेफोरखौ लोगो रोदा होनना बुंजागोन मानो होनब्ला बिसोरनि गेजेराव आरो मा जेबो आगोसार दिहुनगिरि गैया दे एबा आगोसार सानजाबगिरि गैया आरो बेफोरखौ बुङो मा लोगो रोदा एबा co-prime they are called co-prime because they do not have any other factors in common except one okay so we are going to use this word a lot so I hope you have understood if you have not understood please write in the comments खनसे कमेन्टआव लिरनो हाबावगोन बेफोर बांसिन क्लास 9 नि दे these are from class 9 so now let us go to the exercise दे एक्सारसाइजआव थांनोसै so let's start okay now let's do for English medium students okay and I'm taking something very I don't know but my brain suddenly I thought that I did root 3 for Boro medium now I want to do root 2 for English medium so I hope you won't mind okay so yeah it is almost similar and just you have to change the words to English and I told you already the method is called the method of contradiction right we are going to contradict means ulta we are going to prove that our thinking is ulta our whatever we are doing is ulta and then we are going to prove that it is irrational so our question is prove that root 2 is irrational दे आं बर' मिडियामनियाव रुट 3 खौ खालामनाय दा आङो रुट 2 खौ खालामना होदों आरो दे बर' मिडियामनियाबो एसे नायलांगोन ओके so check okay I'm not going to do both again and again I'm not going to repeat so see here okay prove that root 2 is irrational so what we are going to do we are going to take the opposite जों उल्टाखौ लागोन दे we are going to take the opposite let मा लागोन root 2 is rational and root 2 is equal to what we can write any rational number okay I'm sorry any rational number we can write as a by b where b is not equal to 0 and a comma b are co-prime so a and b are co-prime and this is very important okay a and b are co-prime co-prime means that they do not have any common factor you cannot cancel them they are like 3 and 5 okay so they have no common factor they have no any common factor you have to remember that that will be our contradictory point okay बेनो जोंहा उल्था खालामनायनि मोनसे पॉइंट जागोन आरो co-prime आनो दे so what we can write therefore root 2 is equal to a by b so if I bring this b this side what will I get root 2 b equal to a so I'm going to square it both sides okay square it both sides root 2 b square a square you can write here squaring both sides फारनैथिंबो बर्ग खालामनानै दे squaring both sides you can write here so what you will get this root over and square will cancel so 2b square is equal to a square. Now you look here very nicely. Okay, what you can see is that this a square, you have one factor as 2. That means a square you will get by multiplying 2 with something, right? That means 2 is a factor of a square. Okay, so from here we can write that therefore 2 is a factor of a square. And if 2 is a factor of a square, that means what you can write, 2 is a factor of a also. Okay, factor of a also. Okay, there is a theorem on that. So if 2 is a factor of a square, 2 is a factor of a also. Okay, that means we can write, thus we can write, what we can write, a equal to any number into 2, 2 into any number. That means there will be always 2 into something. Okay, so that's something I'll take as c. Okay, a I can write as 2 into c. Okay, again we'll square it. A square is equal to 2c square. So what you will get, a square is equal to 4c square. All right, now if you look at here, this is 1. Okay, this is 1. And if you look at here, a square is equal to 4c, but a square was what, 2b square. Okay, so from 1 I can write, from equation number 1 I can write that what, instead of a square I can write, 2b square. Okay, instead of a square I can write a square, I can write 2b square is equal to 4c square. So if I take this 2 this side, b square is equal to 4 by 2 c square. So b square will be equal to 2c square. Again you look here, it is almost same as before. A square is 2b square, b square is 2c square. That means b square also has a factor of 2, right? That means b square is also 2 into something, 2 multiplied by something. That means 2 is a factor of b square, right? Therefore I can write that 2 is a factor of b square. And by that criteria I can also write what, 2 is a factor of b also, right? Now if you look here, 2 is a factor of a, 2 is a factor of b. That means a also has factor 2, b also has factor 2. How is it possible if we are assuming that they are co-prime? If we are assuming that they are co-prime, they should not have any similar factor. Now they have similar factor, same factor, that is 2. Okay, so I'll write here now. Okay, here what we got, that 2 is a common factor of a and b. Okay, but this contradicts, see, contradicts means ulta our assumption that what, a and b are co-prime. That means what, if we are getting a common factor, they should not be co-prime. And if they should not be co-prime, they should not be rational also. Okay, that means a by b means this root 2 should not be rational. Okay, therefore what we can write, root 2 is an irrational number. Okay, so because it is contradicting our co-prime, this co-prime, it is contradicting because we got a common factor, so we can prove that it is not a rational, our assumption is wrong. Okay, our assumption is wrong. Okay, our assumption is wrong, you can write here, our assumption is wrong. Okay, our assumption is wrong, so root 2 is an irrational number. So that much. All right, okay, let's go to the exercise now. The exercise now. Okay, now I'm going to do the same question number 1 in English medium. Okay, for English medium students, and as I've said already, we are going to use the method of contradiction. Contradiction means first we are going to assume the opposite. Okay, we are going to take the ulta first, and we are going to show that we are wrong. Okay, first we are going to take the opposite, then we are going to show that we are wrong. Opposite ko लाग्रोगोन आरो जोंखौनो proof खालामहैगोन जे जों भुल जादों होननानै दे. So let us see. Okay, let I'll take the opposite, ulta. Let us consider that what, or let us assume, you can write, assume that root 5 is rational. Okay, root 5 is rational, and we can write what? Root 5 as p by q form as a by b, where what? B is not equal to 0. Okay, and what I can write? A comma B are what? Coprimes. What does the word coprime mean? I told you again and again, coprime means they do not have any what? Any common factor. They do not have any common factor. It is like they are 3 and 7. 3 and 7, there is no common factor. Okay, so therefore what I can write, root 5 is what? I have already considered root 5 as, sorry, root 5 is a by b. So if I bring b this side on the left hand side, so root 5 into b is equal to a square. Take, oh sorry, I'm sorry, a. Okay, now let us square. Sorry, root 5 b square is equal to a square. What I can write here? Squaring. Okay, I'm squaring both sides. So that's why I'm writing here squaring. Okay, then what I'll get? The square and the square root will cancel. So I'll get here 5b equal to a square. Okay, I'm missing one square here. Okay, 5b square is equal to a square. So what does this equation mean? Do you know the meaning of this equation? This equation means that a square is 5 into something. A square is 5 into something. That means what? A square is a what? A square has a multiple, or a square has a factor 5. Okay, 5 is a factor of like 6 is equal to 3 into 2. Here 3 is a factor of 6. 2 is a factor of 6. So 5 is a factor of a square. Okay, therefore 5 is a factor of a square. And if it is a factor of a square, so we can write that is what? 5 is a factor of a also. Okay, 5 is a factor of a. So we can write, what we can write is what? A is 5 into something. 5 into c. I will take a c. Okay, 5 into anything. So I'll take square again both sides. A square is equal to 5c square. What I'll get? This side. Okay, I'll do it this side. So what I'll get? This a square will be equal to 25c square. But you look here, a square means what? 5b square, right? So instead of a square, I can write what? 5b square. So instead of a square, I can write 5b square is equal to 25c square. So let me take this 5 this side. So b square will be equal to 25 by 5 c square. So b square will give me 25 by 5 will give me 5c square, right? Now again tell me what is the meaning of this. Similar to this one, 5 is a factor of a square. Again b square is 5 into something. That means 5 is again a factor of b square, right? So I can write what? Therefore 5 is a factor of b square. Alright? 5 is a factor of b square. So that means what? There is a theorem that what? If it is a factor of b square, 5 is a factor of what also? Of b also. Right? See, 5 is a factor of a, 5 is a factor of b. That means 5 is common for both a and b. Okay? So therefore 5 is a common factor of a and b. But we have written that they are coprimes. Coprimes means what? They should not have any common factor. That means whatever we are taking as coprime is wrong. Okay, we are taking 5 as a common factor. That is wrong. That is completely wrong. That means what? Whatever our assumption, that is wrong. This is wrong. That means we have to take the opposite of this. Okay, so but this contradicts our assumption that a and b are coprime. Okay, a and b are coprime. Hence, what happened? Our assumption is wrong. assumption is wrong. And what? Root 5 is an irrational number. Rational number. Okay. So I hope you understood. If you have not understood, put it in the comments. Okay. Tell me which part you have not understood. Write down the specific part. I'll try to explain it again. Okay. Okay. Don't worry. We are going to do some of this again. Right. Okay. Let's continue. Okay. For the English medium students, okay, prove that. Question number 2. Okay. Exercise 1.2. Question number 2. Prove that 3 plus 2 root 5 is irrational. Okay, so there is an, you know already that root 5 is irrational, and if you multiply or add any number with an irrational number, it still remains an irrational number, but we have to prove it. Okay, so what is our method? Again, we do the method of contradiction. What do you mean by that? The contradiction method is that we are going to assume something that is wrong. Okay, that is wrong, we are going to assume, and we are going to prove that whatever we assume is wrong, in fact wrong. That means our assumption is wrong, whatever we assume is wrong, and the contradiction is the right. The whatever will be the opposite will be the correct. That is our method. Okay, that we are going to use. Okay, let's start. Right, let us assume, we'll assume the opposite of what is given in the question. Okay, let us assume that 3 plus 2 root 5 is rational. Okay, let us assume that it is rational. Okay, and any rational number we can write as 2 root 5, we can write as p by q, or I can write as a by b also. Okay, where where b is not equal to 0 and a comma b are, you can write integers, or you can write as co-prime also. Okay, that doesn't affect our solution. Okay, so we have got that 3 plus 2 root 5 is what? It is a by b. So let me take this 3 to the other side, okay, to the right hand side. So whatever will remain, 2 root 5. So equals a by b. If I take it that side, it will come as minus 3, right? Then again, I would like to take this 2 also on the right hand side. So root 5 will remain on the left hand side, and whatever is there, a by b minus 3, I'm keeping it inside the bracket, and then I'll bring this 2 here below. Okay, the multiplication term will come as divisor. Okay, so now you see here, we have got this very interesting term here, and we have got one term this side. Okay, we know that a by b is rational, right? A by b is rational. 3 is also rational. If you minus rational number, another rational number, this is entirely a rational number. That means inside the bracket is rational number. Even 1 by 2 is rational. So 1 by 2 into another rational number, this is entirely rational number. Okay, so I'll write down this one. A by b is rational. A by b is rational. So we can write what? Hence, what I can write that 1 by 2 a by b minus 3 is also rational. Okay, since this is rational and this is equal, there is a equal sign. You see here, there is a equal sign. This is rational number, this is equal to something. Rational should be equal to rational, right? This is rational, so this should also be rational, since we are writing it equal. Equal, if there is a equal in between, that means if this is rational, we have proved that this part is rational. If this entire term is rational, that means should also be rational. Okay, so what I can write is that this implies that what? Root 5 is also rational. Now, am I correct in writing this? We already know that root 5 is not a rational number. We have already proved. Okay, it is a fact that root 5 is an irrational number. So whatever I have written here, whatever it is implying here, it is wrong. It is wrong. This term is wrong, because we cannot write a rational number equal to an irrational number. This is wrong. So our entire assumption is wrong. That is what we are going to do, right? So this is wrong. Whatever we have written is wrong. but this contradicts, now see here, contradiction is coming, contradicts the fact that root 5 is an irrational number. Okay, root 5 is an irrational number, so hence our assumption is wrong. Our assumption is wrong. So if our assumption is wrong, if our assumption that it is a rational number, it is wrong, that means this should be an irrational number. Okay, therefore what, 3 plus 2 root 5 is an irrational number. Irrational number. Okay, so I hope we understood. Our contradiction is coming from here. Okay, this part is rational, so it cannot be equal to an irrational number. So whatever we have assumed from the beginning, it is wrong, totally wrong. That's why we have written that our assumption that rational was assumption, that is wrong. It should be irrational. Okay, so I hope you have understood. Don't worry, we are going to do a lot like this.